All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS live stream. We have you guys covered here with, was it the 4-game straight slate on DraftKings and then the 6-game slate on FanDuel. So we were talking right before this how we're kind of annoyed with how DraftKings is handling that, but we'll break down both slates. Interesting spots just in general. What are your overall thoughts for this slate on both sites? Is it one you're excited to attack, or kind of what are your general thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to attack the slate on FanDuel. Playing more over there today because I like the slate more with those two games. But DraftKings, there's some situations we could take advantage of. The model's kind of on some low owned plays, even on a 4-gamer. We got a lot of bad teams, so I would expect a lot of variance on this slate.
Yeah. We can start with kind of one bad team. We'll start with Brooklyn here, and they're going to be without Cam Thomas. And what that obviously makes it a lot uglier for them in general. Michael Porter Jr. is kind of an interesting play in the sense that we know he's going to shoot a lot, just not whether or not he's going to make a lot. So he's coming in pretty chalky on DraftKings again because of the 2 games being taken off. He seems to be a little bit high owned for me, but then we got Nick Claxton, Noah Clowney, kind of interesting there. What are your thoughts here with Brooklyn?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. We seen D-Man, or however you want to say, Igor start
Yeah.
last game. So he's kind of interesting as a value. The minutes were pretty decent. He was their main facilitator, mainly hurt Terrence Mann. So if he's starting again, I think we could go there for value, as well as Clowney, assuming Clowney starts, which he should. Knicks run double big, basically. And then, like you mentioned with MPJ, he definitely has a ceiling. It's kind of scary to go to at ownership, especially with a pretty wide spread. But if they're going to hang in this game, he's probably a big reason why.
Yeah, but that is what's crazy to me. It is a 16.5-point spread and a lower scoring game. I'm just seeing that. I'm like, I don't want to be on him 22%. I'll tell you that much. Maybe 10%. It's not like he has multiple position eligibility as well. Like it's just small forward. And maybe, I guess, as we go on throughout the video with it being a 4-game slate, maybe that's the issue. Or it's probably him or Wagner or Brown. So I kind of get it in that sense, but I don't know. That seems a little crazy to me. And I don't mind Claxton. I think I'm fine eating that chalk, but again, it's a 16.5-point spread. I feel like these Nets players are just a little bit too overvalued by everyone.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I am too. Don't mind Claxton. I have some underweight on MPJ currently, and then I'm actually overweight on Day'Ron Sharp. I don't mind that, especially if you're kind of playing into the blowout a little bit. He's probably out there.
I'm fine with that stance. Yeah, that makes sense to me. One player that I was surprised kind of with his role in the last game was Martin. We only have him projected for 23 minutes, so probably still not enough to get there. I was looking to see if he would get more run. He didn't, so probably not even worth mentioning. We'll jump into the Knicks here. So the Knicks, obviously, in a game that's a blowout. How are you handling the Knicks here? Is it just load up on the studs? Because if it's a blowout, they're going to be the reason why. Or are you a little bit cautious with them?
Yeah, I'm actually not getting to very many currently. There's just some other games I like more, but I don't mind any of them. Prefer Cat if I'm paying up, and then Bridges is actually my highest exposed from here. I don't mind getting to a little bit of Bridges. His price is good. It's also kind of a revenge game for him, so I don't mind him.
Okay. How long can we call it a revenge game? Because I'm typically the first game back for a home game, or if the first game against the opponent isn't a home game, maybe then. I feel like there's 2 games. That's all you get.
Yeah, and he's probably not very mad at them anyways. He's in a lot better situation.
Yeah, and he doesn't even seem like someone that would be, like that type of
No.
person that would get motivated for that. But maybe that's just me with him. No, I always like a good revenge game call out. I kind of basically echo all your same points there. I do wonder, like, just a complete dart throw. If this game does end up being a blowout, can Jordan Clarkson go out there and just shoot a bunch and blow out run? And maybe ends up like with 22 minutes instead of 16 and just crushes it at 3.5. Only a play I would consider on DraftKings, not FanDuel, obviously.
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of Clarkson for that reason.
Okay.
Mainly playing this as a blowout, so he's in my pool and I'm getting to him. Not like not a huge percent of my rosters, but I have some.
Yeah. Now let's just see. Let's try to jump into some comments here. So got a lot of comments from DFS Buddy coming in. So What's up? What's up, fellas? There we go. Let's see here. Thank God for NBA DFS. NFL is throw up. It was an interesting NFL day, especially with this game that Power called out with the Seahawks up 28-0. Hopefully, he had Seahawks DST. Jeez, I had Jaguars for most of mine, and that's not going to help right now, which is crazy. Let's see here. We got a question. DK Cash. We'll talk about that at the end of the DK section. 4 games here, so we'll talk about that at the end of it. Who's the lock for center? Talk about that as we progress here. Haven't gotten to one just yet. And then we'll talk about Detroit as well. So let's jump on in here to the next game. And we'll jump into Boston versus Orlando. So Boston versus Orlando, it's going to be a 4-point spread, 229.5 for the over and under. Both teams are pretty healthy. Mo Wagner still out there for Orlando. Tatum's obviously out for Boston. So it kind of seems like a decent spot to target this slate. I'm kind of surprised, specifically for the DraftKings slate. We'll talk about it with both sides of it. I think this is a good spot to load up for DraftKings. For FanDuel, I understand the ownerships.
Yep, that's where I'm at too. DraftKings, this game seems pretty good with the total and the spread being close when we have a lot of spreads that are not close. Mm-hmm. So getting to a lot of Jaylen Brown, I think it's just kind of a nature of the slate too. Small forward's kind of weak. I'd rather pay $1,000 more for Jaylen Brown in a lot better game than playing Michael Porter Jr. Jaylen Brown pretty much has the team to himself. He takes whatever shots he wants. Not a play I'm normally behind, but today I am.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at there as well. So like we have Derek White popping up as a pretty decent play. The unfortunate side with both of them is, like, in comparison to FanDuel, not multiple position eligibility, solo position eligibility. Maybe that's what's keeping their ownership down. They both project pretty well DK value-wise, OF index-wise, but after that, it does get a little bit tighter. Kata is kind of chalky on DraftKings, 26%. Pretty good value ranking, though. Best value for Boston. Projected for 25 minutes. Is that a play that you're happy getting into, like, even weight with the field, someone going out of your way to target? He is someone that has been productive recently, but throughout the most of the season, it's been a little bit spotty, but I kind of get why he's somewhat chalky on the slate.
Yeah, just not a ton of like really good value on the slate. So you're getting a starting center that's probably going to play 20 to 25 minutes. I don't love the play, but I also understand it. So I'm about with the field right now.
Okay. And then we'll switch on into Orlando here. So the tough part for me with Orlando is they've all basically been priced about the same throughout the whole year. Ben Caro's finally starting to get his price bumped. That's about it. We have Wagner about the same, Bane about the same, Carter about the same. And so I've been trying to get to a decent amount of Orlando players because I felt like they've been a little too cheap. I'm probably doing that again. And we kind of look at Franz Wagner compared to Porter again. I would rather eat this chalk on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I'm okay with it. Where he's at, I think that makes sense. Where are you at here with, and that's actually interesting just looking at it now that he's lower owned on DraftKings compared to FanDuel. But where are you at here with Orlando?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I think Paolo looks like a great play. If you can find the salary to get up to him, he makes a lot of sense. I'm currently overweight there. I like this game, so I want to go back to him. And then Bane, we've kind of seen his explosion last game, and he's still underpriced if he plays like that, which we know he has the potential to. He's a good player, but currently double the field on Bane, so pretty in line with you. I like getting to these Magic players. Even Wendell Carter on a short slate, he's at least playable.
Yeah, I think Wendell Carter compared to like Cato, who's kind of chalky as well. I think that's a fine player to be maybe overweight on to make. But I think they're both fine, honestly, point per dollar wise. So neither of them are center locks. I know we got that question earlier, but they're both interesting, low flyers here. And then let's jump into the other early game that we have, which is OKC versus Memphis. We'll start with Memphis, but both teams are kind of banged up. Memphis is kind of actually getting a little bit more healthy. Aldama is currently questionable. We have him projected for 27 minutes. Edie's out, Jerome's out, Piffin's out, and Clark is still out. So nothing too crazy, I would say, from an injury standpoint. Game standpoint, you mentioned some blowout games. This is one of them, 10.5 points spread, 233 over and under. What are you doing here with Memphis?
Yeah. Pretty tough team. I think on FanDuel you could always play Jaw. He's just kind of price better there, but not really getting to him on DraftKings. Cedric Coward's probably my favorite play here. Someone I've been overweight on pretty much all season. He's been
Mhm.
seeing 30 minutes, so I like going there on both sides. I think he's a good play, good positional eligibility.
Yeah.
And then the only other one I'm really getting to from here is Cam Spencer. Been getting decent minutes. He's productive when he's out there. And then if this game does get out of hand, he probably benefits. So I don't mind going there in large field.
Mm. We did get a question about FanDuel is 6-2. I'm sure there's slight troll here. We're mentioning FanDuel as well. We're just putting a little bit more emphasis on DraftKings just because it's the 4-game slate. Obviously, we'll break down the last 2-game slates at the end of this as well. But specifically with Coward, I think that is a good call though. With the multiple position eligibility, he is more appealing, I would say, on FanDuel to me than he is on DraftKings. But I don't necessarily love his ownership on DraftKings, but it is a 4-game slate. I get it. That's the tough part about it. It's stupid. It's stupid how DraftKings has it set up.
It's hard.
It is. It is. We'll jump into OKC here, guys. OKC, so obviously SGA could end up being a pay up. We have Hirenstein projected for 29 minutes, Chet Holmgren 29 minutes. So that's kind of the issue here with OKC is it's a blowout. So how many minutes can we trust these players to get? And then with them not getting a lot of minutes, I mean, how much can we expect out of them?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. If this game does stay close, like you're definitely going to want some pieces from here because the game environment will be really good in itself. AJ Mitchell's who I'm getting to currently the most, also who the field's getting to the most. And then SGA, always on DraftKings, you're kind of paying up to be contrarian. He's kind of lowish owned for a 4-game slate. And then FanDuel, he's also low owned too. And he normally scores better for FanDuel, so I don't mind him. Can't say I'm like running out of my way to target him, but if you have a pretty chalky lineup and you play SGA over Cade, I think that's a pretty good play.
Yeah, so we'll jump into that late night game. We've already gotten a decent amount of questions just in general for this game. So it seems like everyone's more interested in this spot here. So we'll start out here with Philadelphia here. So we know that Embiid's out. We know that George is out, Barlow's out, and Broom is out as well. So we got some questions about Watford. Let's start with him. So he's the extreme chalk, 66% on DraftKings, 50% on FanDuel. Very cheap on both sites. We do have him projected for 29 minutes. Is this a spot where obviously DK Value loves him? Okay, let's just call that out. FanDuel Value loves him. Is this a spot where we just trying to just load up on him as much as possible?
I think so, especially on the 4-gamer. He looks like a really good play. I have his minutes at 28, and I'm still getting him in 100% of my lineup. So I think he's just a really good play. Plus, we get a good matchup. So as long as no crazy breaking news happens, I'm going to have probably 70% plus of Watford in my lineups. I think he looks good. And then, I mean, you have him beat out too. So really, this whole roster looks pretty solid.
Yeah, what was it? It might have been last night. I forget which. It was last night with Atlanta being banged up, and me and Nick were going through it. Like, this player seems like a great player. This player seems like a great player. And literally everyone that got significant minutes that you would have been on had like the flame mark next to them. It kind of feels like that with the Sixers here. Maybe not to that extent because we do have like Edgecombe and Maxey priced up enough, Kelly Oubre priced up enough, but they should be able to hit value unless they go extremely cold shooting. That kind of feels like what we have here tonight with them. One player that isn't chalky that can get into foul trouble occasionally is Adam Bona. They're power forward center eligible. I kind of like him on DraftKings more so, even though he's priced up, not coming in with any ownership. Is that a play that the field's overlooking, or is that just me having some sort of probably a summer league confirmation bias?
No, I think he looks pretty solid, especially at pretty much no ownership, power forward
Yeah.
eligibility. I think him or Drummond probably has a pretty decent game.
Yeah, so Drummond is gaining a little bit of ownership, but not too much. Still 7%. He's projected for 22 minutes. And so they're kind of both appealing to me. Maybe one gets a little bit more run than the other. But is this a spot where you feel like you need to get 2-3 players, or is it just start with Watford and then figure it out from there?
I'm kind of just starting from Watford and then figuring it out from there. I like Maxey as a pay up. I think he looks good. And then Kelly Oubre, I think, is underowned. I mean, he's pretty much appropriately priced, but
Yeah.
with his small forward eligibility, he's cheaper than MPJ, and we see him without Embiid consistently just put up 40 points. So I like getting over the field on Kelly Oubre, and then Grimes is kind of just he's fine if he makes it in my lineups.
Mm-hmm. And then, do we got to mention Jared McCain on FanDuel? We only have him for 11 minutes. I would say that that's accurate, right? Like we that's not a spot we should. I mean, I'm calling out because of the price tag. I don't feel like we haven't projected for 11 minutes, but anything there? Do you see anything there?
Yeah, I kind of looked at him for a minute, but I don't really like it just coming off an injury and second
Mm-hmm.
night of a back to back feels kind of rough.
Yeah, I got you. And then we'll talk about Detroit here. So Detroit, Isaiah Stewart doubtful. So that's kind of a big piece of news. Tobias Harris still out. Ivy still out. Sasser out. Levert is probable. So minutes wise, Duran projected for 32 minutes. Maybe he actually gets a little bit more than that, or maybe Paul Reed gets a little bit more run than we have him projected to get 15 there. Or do you think it's just Holland? I know we got a lot of questions about Holland there. He is kind of chalky. What are you doing with the big specifically for Detroit right now?
Currently playing a ton of Duran. The model loves him. He's looked great this year. He's actually getting the minutes. That's been his issue pretty much since he's been in Detroit. And then you take out Beef Stew, and it just kind of solidifies him as well. Asar Thompson, I think he looks better with no Isaiah Stewart out there. They're going to need him to fill in some 4 minutes, so I like him. And then also, I know we got questions about Ron Holland. I would expect him to start. I think he looks good. He's also a player that can get into some foul trouble, so I don't think he's a lock button play, but he is a good fantasy point per minute producer, and he makes lineups work. So I'm getting there currently. And then the only other one, or one of the other ones, is Paul Reed. It's possible they slide him at some 4, but he's for sure going to be playing the backup 5. So his minutes should be okay for a $3,400 center. I don't mind mixing him in.
Now, I hope I'm not. Did he used to play for Philly? Am I remembering that wrong or no?
Yeah, he did. He was in.
Is this an actual revenge game then, or no?
It might be.
Just toss it. But yeah, I'm right there with you. We did have a question about like center cash play or core play. Like, is Duran basically that tonight? Like,
yeah, he's my highest exposed center, and before we go into lock, I would expect it to be the same.
Yeah, so we're kind of doing the dummy build right now. We'll put him in there as well. So I put Watford and Duran. They feel like 2 pretty safe plays. I know we had a question about 2 kind of safe plays. I think that's, and we did get a question about Reed as a value. There we go. We had people talking about. Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't even mention Cade, but Cade looks great too. This game, along with the Boston game, just seems like the games that I want to target.
Really, for this slate, it does seem like we're choosing between which of the top 3 guards are going to go off: Cade, Maxey, or SGA. And it feels like a true dart throw in regards to like which one like has the ceiling game. Obviously, with the OKC game being a potential blowout, lean more towards Maxey and Cade, but that feels like the make or break point because they're all priced about the same.
Yep.
Let's see here. Any Klassen? We did get to Klassen already. We got a lot of chat coming in, so appreciate you guys here. Do we like Maxey or Cade more? So yeah, like we just mentioned. So I know the data likes Cade a little bit more on both sides. So probably him. I think that's, unless you see it differently.
No, I'm getting to more Cade right now.
Okay. Power's using his I'm going to call them Chat GPT jokes again tonight. They're too clever most of the time, so it's got to be Chat GPT. So let's finish out this dummy build that we're doing here. Let's see. Wait, do we have? That was all the games, right? 4 game slate for the main slate. Okay, so let's finish out the dummy build on DraftKings here. So we'll go Cade even in this build as well. And then from there, we have 5.5 left over. Where should we go from there? Obviously, we kind of mentioned small forward a bunch. Let's try to figure out that position first, because MPJ is kind of chalky. We could go Oubre, we could go Coward, we could go Wagner or Brown.
Yeah, I like any of those. I don't know. That's tough. I like. That's pretty tough. I like Ubre, but that's kind of more of a GPP build. Could go
That's
even
fine.
a SAR. Yeah, we could do Ubre.
Yeah, he ranks out as one of the better values, pretty low owned. So I think we're
Yeah.
fine with that. We'll do that. And then, so we have point guard, shooting guard. We'll start with the point guard spot. So, I mean, really anyone, we know Mitchell's kind of an interesting play. Man's okay for Brooklyn. McBride's a little interesting. Ager, kind of interesting for Brooklyn as well. Any of those plays?
Yeah, I like Agor if he starts. I think he's a pretty good value.
Okay. We'll put him in there in the point guard spot. Shooting guard wise, 5.6 left over. I don't necessarily love the values here personally. I do kind of want to pay up, but like this to me is kind of the. I think I'd rather go Edgar. I'm going to redo this. I'm going to put Edgar in the shooting guard, Cade in the point guard, even though he's the late night game. So don't do this. It's just easier for us. So guard spot. Next best guard play that you like the most.
I like AJ Mitchell. Let's see.
Yeah, we can get him in there.
AJ Mitchell, Coward.
We could do Coward as well, and then we have kind of a fair and balanced build.
Yeah, we could do that.
So 5.6 left over then. This gets me to, I think, Carter. I think that's fine. I think he ends up being a decent center play.
Yeah, I like that.
I do kind of want to punt to one of the Detroit bigs, but overall, I mean, this is a solid, I think, base build where people can work around it.
Yeah, you could even swap the Coward to like Ron Holland or something like that too.
Yep. And the data obviously liked him a decent amount as well. So Watford's kind of easy play. Mitchell, we're getting some of the top values on the slate per the data as well. So kind of like that there. Now we'll jump on into the FanDuel main slate. So FanDuel wise, let's see, which game should we start with? Well, Indiana. We'll start with Indiana. So yeah. Long list of players out once again. Furphy's out, Jackson's out, Matherin's out, McConnell, Naismith, Siakam, and Toppin. So, what are we doing here with Indiana?
Yeah, tricky situation. At least we got the news now, and we didn't have to wait. So, I do think it's an interesting spot. They don't have very many bodies, but they do kind of have plenty of guards. So, I think the wings are kind of more interesting here, which Cody Martin's listed as a shooting guard, but he's going to play wing. And then you have Jarace Walker here as well at a good price. Going to be probably the main usage on this team. So he's another wing. So I think Jarace Walker and Cody Martin's minutes are really secure here. And then JRE probably plays some at forward too. So I don't think – like he's listed as a center, but he's probably going to be playing as a wing. So I think them three, their minutes upside are really high. Ben Shepherd's a bigger body. He could kind of play that position too, so I think his minutes are secure. But as far as DFS plays, we have Nembhard here. He probably looks the best, going to facilitate the offense. And then Cody Martin, pretty interested at his price, especially if he gets to start. But even off the bench, I think I'll take him at lower ownership. And then Jarace. I really like Jarace. Pretty much just naming everybody, but they all look really good. There's not very many bodies. Isaiah Jackson's going to start at center. He looks like a really good center option. So pretty much anybody except a couple.
Let's break it down a little bit more there. So if you had to choose a center spot on FanDuel, would you rather go with value with JRE or Jackson as a little bit more of a pay up?
It kind of depends. Probably Jackson, though.
Okay. And then between, let's say, Ben Shepherd and Nembhard. Nembhard is chalk. Which one would you rather get to? Even price where they're at, which one is just the better play? Is it Nembhard?
Yeah, it's Nembhard. Shepherd's just not super productive.
And are the minutes for Nembhard correct at 32 and a 16-point spread? That's my biggest concern with Nembhard.
That's what scares me too. When I first seen it, I thought he would get ruled out just coming back from an injury. And he's already playing a back-to-back. So it's kind of a sketchy situation to me.
Yeah, so that leads me into the last question. Are we looking at all in Monte Morris or Ray J. Dennis? Like, Dennis is weird to me. Like, he had a few games where he got a decent amount of minutes and was productive DFS-wise and just nothing there. Now we have Monte Morris projected for 18 minutes. Like, are either of them in play at all, or is it not worth it?
I think you could. You could get to Monte Morris. I feel like he might be ahead of Dennis, but
Mhm.
it's kind of a tricky situation. On the night slate, I think it's better. On the FanDuel main slate, I think there's probably better plays.
Mhm. Real quickly before we jump into the other side of this game, any love for Agor? Yeah, we already mentioned him. He's a pretty solid play at his price tag for a 4-game slate. Let's see here. So yeah, we got Golden State then on the other side of this game. So for Golden State, Curry questionable, Horford questionable. With it being a 16-point spread right now as we're recording this, that leads me to believe that Curry is going to be active. I know the game started out as at about 14. So, like, I'm assuming that was maybe more leaning towards Curry sitting. We haven't projected for 30 minutes. So, obviously, if he's out, that does change a decent amount. Probably loading up on Butler, Pods a little bit more, Kuminga a little bit more. But with him, let's just say being projected in, where are you getting to here for Golden State?
Yeah, overall, it's kind of a tough situation as well because of the spread, of course, but the defense out there is probably not going to be very good for Indiana. So, in the minutes that they're out there, they should be productive. I think Jimmy looks pretty solid here. You get small forward, power forward, which is always nice. So, I think he looks pretty good. Assuming Steph is a full go, I don't mind getting to a little bit of Steph. It's
Hmm.
somewhat of a small slate, so don't hate it there. And then Draymond's projecting as the best FanDuel value. I don't hate it. I kind of prefer Draymond in like those grinded out games, but he's fine if I land there.
Okay, let's jump back into a question that we have in regards to Mitchell Robinson. So we got a couple of questions on him. So let's just mention him. So Mitchell Robinson, he is projected for 17 minutes, priced pretty cheaply, and considering his ownership, I'm surprised that we got two questions about him. So do you have any thoughts on Mitchell Robinson?
He's fine if he lands in a lineup or two, but personally rather play like JRE or Isaiah Jackson.
Yeah, I agree. So then we'll jump into Minnesota versus Sacramento. So Minnesota's pretty much good to go. Terrence Shannon is the only one out. Not too much ownership here, but nothing too crazy. DiVincenzo a little chalky with a cheap price tag. Rudy Gobert as well, but center eligibility only. So kind of interesting spot there. And then Ant-Man is, I would say correctly priced, but we do have the multiple position eligibility. To me, he's the most appealing specifically because that. And we look at the game total, it's a very high scoring game. And so that's kind of a good way, I think, to get action in on this game that's pretty darn appealing.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Ant's my favorite play from here. And then as far as payups go, you have a pretty close game and a good total. So I think he's a pretty good. I mean, he's under 20% on FanDuel, so he's
Yeah.
somewhat contrarian. I like getting to Ant.
Then we have Randall as well, power forward only, so not necessarily great there. Is that why people are getting to Dante, or is it more of the price? A cheap price to get action in on a game where a player should be able to get value, if not exceed it?
Yeah, I think that's why. Just a way to get a piece of the game. He's fine. It's not someone I'm going out of my way to like prioritize, but I don't mind getting him.
And then just worth calling out, Rudy Gobert is the top FanDuel value for this team. 15.9 is pretty high. And so I guess it's a little shocking that uh, like he should be like to me closer to 15% projected ownership rather than 10.
Yeah, yeah, I think he's a player we could get somewhat overweight on. Like him better when Conley's out there, but he's still fine.
Yeah. So we'll jump on into Sacramento now. So for the Kings, Sabonis questionable. Um, I would assume, given the line and total right now, that he's good to go. Who are you looking at here on the Kings? There's a lot of ownership going around here.
Yeah, they just need to let Sabonis get healthy because he hasn't been. But overall, I think Levine, you could go there, 6,300, probably too cheap. I don't know if it was a FanDuel or a DraftKings night slate. He was either last night or the night before. They had him at min price for some weird reason, but
Mm-hmm.
it kind of feels like another situation. He's only 6,300 in a close game. He's probably getting there. After
Mm-hmm.
that, not really. I don't want to play DeMar. His price is pretty cheap, but
It's appealing.
Sabonis, yeah, Sabonis with his power forward eligibility, I think you could go there. Now that Siakam's ruled out, you kind of, I don't mind spinning up at that power forward position. And then after that, it's pretty much it. I think Russ is playable at 7,300. Not my favorite play, but he's been doing it.
I mean, he ranks out as a pretty good FanDuel value still. And to your point was like, I guess the issue is like too many guard options, I guess, for the Kings with Russ, Levine, and Monk. Even like,
Yeah,
I'm right there with you though with Levine with the small forward guard eligibility, like 35 minutes. Like, sign me up for that if he's only 16%. I know it's a bigger slate, but I don't know. That the ownership seemed a little bit low on FanDuel today. Maybe they'll update. Maybe it's just because football's going on, but it seems like we have some spots to jump on, and that seems to be one of them.
yeah, I think so.
Then let's jump back into a question here as well. So I know we got a couple of questions about Noah Clowney there as well. Projected for 31 minutes, not too chalky. 20% on DraftKings, 9% on FanDuel. Kind of give us your thoughts again on him.
Yeah, I like Clowney. I think he looks like a pretty good option on both sides. Someone that looks good. Power forward eligibility is always nice. He started out real hot last game, went to the locker room, and then he ended up coming back. He didn't really do a whole lot in the second half, but he had already got there in one half. So a player that can do that against New York, I think that's fine.
Yeah, so 3 straight games of over 23 DFS points, and we haven't projected for 30 minutes again. So yeah, appealing at that price tag. But do you think he should be higher owned than what he is, or do you think that's right?
I think it's about correct on this slate.
Good. Okay. And then shout out to Jacob for the nice comment there. I appreciate you. There we go. Reading some other comments as well. All right. So that does it, right? That's the full 6-game slate on FanDuel and then 4-game slate on DraftKings. So let's just kind of recap it here. If you guys have any more questions, get them in. And we'll be jumping out of here real quickly because we do have the NFL live stream. They'll be taking place at the top of the hour. So let's just kind of recap, guys. DraftKings value, Watford, Mitchell, Carter, Cada, Duran. And so to recap, like Duran, probably a core play. Watford, probably a core play if we're looking at it in that sense. And then just a bunch of solid plays, right?
Yep. Yeah, and to me, that's something that I always look for. Like, even if you sort by OF index, and I'm looking for like the highest DK value, and to me, that's probably a core play. Like today, it's Cade and Duran. Both look really good in terms of OF index and DK value. So those are 2 guys you kind of want to prioritize, and it's done really well for me. So something I like to do.
Yeah, I think that's always a pretty solid starting point. Do you do OF index first or DK value, or just depends on the night?
It depends. I like sorting by DK value, but then when I'm looking for like my high upside pay ups, I'm kind of sorting by OF index and then looking for the top DK value and then ownership, of course. Like sometimes we'll get that for a low owned player, like say SGA tonight, not tonight, but if that happened, someone I would want to be like double the field on.
And that's actually happened a decent amount this year where there's a player that's really popping up on the OF index that's not coming in as chalk. And you could kind of point to, this isn't the perfect example, but Isaiah Hartenstein popping up decently well on the OF index and coming in at 6 and 2%. Like that's appealing.
Yeah, I know the other night it was super high on Jokic, like way over. It was Wemby, and Jokic went for a ceiling game, and Wemby went for like 30. And so I should have listened to it more there, and I didn't. I learned my lesson.
Dude, that's honestly the lesson in DFS is like trust the data more than yourself. Yeah. That's always it. But we'll quickly we'll end with the FanDuel value as well. So basically the same thing for FanDuel value. We didn't even mention Duncan Robinson at all. He's kind of popping up 2%, 4.1 on DraftKings for salary, 33 minutes. I don't know. Any love for him?
Yeah, I actually don't mind it. Probably he's going to play 35, 36 minutes, especially with no Isaiah Stewart. So I think we're actually a little low on his minutes too, as long as he stays out of foul trouble.
Yeah, so interesting spot there. Yeah, nice. Let's see. Last questions coming in. Anything? Do you know who's in the Discord tonight?
I believe it's Jayhawk.
Okay, so there you go. We just had that question. So let's see. Agar is starting. We got a question about Paul Reed. We kind of mentioned we like Paul Reed as like a punt play, but not someone we need to go crazy with. Like Probably needs to get a little bit lucky with some other players getting into foul trouble because we only have him projected for 15 minutes. That can be enough for him. We know that, but like we would like it if he was projected for 20 minutes more.
Yep.
So FanDuel core, that's a good question to finish it on. I'll let you take that, and then I'll give the final thoughts.
Okay. Let's see. FanDuel core, it'd pretty much be Watford, Andrew Nimhard, Cade, and Duran.
Yeah. All right. So basically the same. I mean, like not the same as DraftKings, but close enough.
Yeah, and I really like Cody Martin.
Okay. And then, all right, we'll handle this one as well. All right, we got enough questions coming. So we got Drummond and Bona. I actually, for leverage purposes, I like Bona a little bit more, but like Drummond's definitely safer.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Yeah. Nuke of the night from both of you. I mean, what would we did core plays already? I don't. What's the nuke? Is that low on play? What are you looking for there? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that, honestly. We already gave you Duran. We already gave you the easy plays, I guess, as well. But enough value in there. I kind of do like Bona. That would be my make or break play if I had to be in on someone. It's a bold take. I want to make that very clear. It's an extremely bold take. But do you have who was your bold calls? We kind of glanced over them.
DraftKings for me, it'd be Kelly Oubre.
Yep.
And then FanDuel, well, he's got ownership now. I was going to say Cody Martin.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess if ownership holds, like we have 7% on Isaiah Jackson, I'd probably go there.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I'm looking for the view.
Oh, I got it. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for this video. Again, we do have the NFL live stream that will be popping up here at the top of the hour. So be on the lookout for that. We're covering the showdown slate there. We also have the Discord going for the NBA slate as well. So check that out if you guys are an Occupy Fantasy member. If you're not, a link is in the description below. Appreciate everyone being in here, and we'll see you guys on the next NBA DFS live stream as well. Good luck.